Continuing on with politics here in Spanish America, you had the viceroy who was the legal representative of the king, and you had this authoritarian nature of government sort of transplanted from Spain to Latin America, very little in the way of meaningful elected assemblies. Huge contrast with British North America. You have the first elected assembly as the House of Burgesses in Virginia. In Massachusetts, you have town meetings where all free white men could vote. And to vote, you had to have land, and there's land available for everyone, so basically everyone gets to vote. You had the elected provincial or colonial assembly of Massachusetts called the General Court that met quarterly from representatives from the various towns. So you have this huge contrast between authoritarianism and elected assemblies, representative government in the English colonies. As far as the economies go, you had in Latin America, first 100 years and more, you had an extraction of mineral wealth of gold and silver from Mexico and from Peru. Spain did a very lively transatlantic trade, bringing slaves in particular to their colonies in the Caribbean and in Latin America, along with the Portuguese as well to Brazil. The Spanish, much less even land distribution. You had in the Spanish Southwest what were called encomiendas, which were farms where the Indians were tied to kind of like serfs in the Middle Ages. In turn for being Christianized and civilized, the Indians had to work, and when the Indians died off, you had plantations worked by slaves that had been kidnapped from Africa. In the American economies, in Chesapeake and in the South, you had plantations, and the plantations originally a lot of indenture labor, later replaced by more predictable slaves. One of the, just sort of an asterisk from what we covered earlier here, one of the outcomes of Bacon's Rebellion is not to rely on indentures because they are unpredictable. They are free men now. They are potential trouble, like marching on Jamestown and burning it in 1676. So slaves become the replacement for indentures. So you do have this plantation economy, very similar to the Spanish in the South. But farther north, you have a transatlantic triangular trade, shipping. You have shipbuilding. You have ship repair. You have fishing, and you have this more urbanization and small manufacture as such in the north, whereas you don't have this so much in the south. And there you have it. Be sure to have read everything in your book that was assigned and get a good review book and look it over and look over your notes and study. Ask me any questions before the test if you can, and good luck all.